Buongiorno and welcome to the North Bay at Scarborough, where the sun always shines, or perhaps not on this morning because it's actually quite misty. But what we're going to do is we're on Rutland Terrace overlooking North Bay, and we're going to go down to sea level and walk over to Scarborough Mills, which is over there, which you can't see at the moment because of the mist, but we'll walk along the seafront to Scarborough Mills, and I expect the visibility will be a bit better at sea level. Then we'll go and have a look at the miniature railway, then we'll go to Peasholm Park, and then we'll walk back along the promenade to the headland where we turn into South Bay. I've now come on to Queen's Parade and we're much lower now. Visibility has improved, so we can see the headland there where the castle is, and panning round you can also see the headland at Scarborough Mills. You can just about make it out. If you look down on the road you can see there's quite a profusion of motorhomes parked up. And also, quite interestingly, there's a couple of tents. There's one there, and there's one over there. So there's some people who've actually camped out just by the seaside. We've now come to the end of Queen's Parade as the road now turns inland. So we're going to continue our walk going down the path here to the seafront. Okay, we've now come down to the seafront and we're actually on the beach, and we're looking at the cliff tops where we were previously, and as you can see it's quite misty up there, and the mist is actually closing in a bit more now. But if we pan round northwards along North Bay, the road actually ends at this point here and doesn't continue along the promenade because we've got these apartments here, and on the ground floor there's gift shops and various eateries. Moving along North Bay and moving northwards, next to these apartments is the start of the beach huts. We've got beach huts of various colours, and as you can see there's various depths of them. There's rows and rows of beach huts going backwards, and the beach huts extend along the shoreline all the way along, which you can even still see them because they're so brightly coloured in the mist. As we pan round further we come to the Sea Life Centre, and finally there's the headland there that you can just about make out through the mist. You can't see the top of the headland, but you can actually see the bottom of it, and in that mist is Scarborough Mills and the Scarborough Mills pub. If we pan round now we can see the North Sea, and the visibility on the North Sea is fine. There's no major problems. But as we pan round further we eventually reach the headland here, which you can barely make out. In the middle of your screen is actually the headland there dividing North Bay and South Bay, and on the top of the headland is Scarborough Castle, which you cannot see at all because of the mist. The mist is much further as we're looking south towards South Bay. It's much worse looking southwards than it is looking northwards, and as you can see here the mist is quite thick and you can barely see the green grass of the cliffs. But as you pan round to where I am, sort of halfway around North Bay, the visibility is much better, and eventually we arrive back at the apartments we saw a moment ago. So what I'm going to do now is to walk along the seafront, moving northwards to Scarborough Mills. We've now made it to Scarborough Mills, evidenced by the fact that the Scarborough Mills pub is directly in front of us, as is Scarborough Beck, which flows into the sea. The weather's set in even more than it had done previously, and as you can see, there isn't much to see. We can't see across North Bay now. It's been raining and the mist has come down even further. So what I'm going to do now is to walk back to the Heritage Railway, and we'll go on the railway to Peasholm Park. Now we've walked back along North Bay, just past the Sea Life Centre, probably only about 100 yards or so, and we've come to the entrance to the miniature railway, and we'll go and buy a ticket to go to Peasholm Park. Okay, we're now on the platform of the miniature railway at Scarborough Mills, and the only thing we're doing now is just waiting for the train to arrive to take us to Peasholm Park. Okay, so we're now on the Scarborough North Bay Railway, and we're travelling to Peasholm Park. If we look out to our left, we've got a view out to sea, and as you can see, it's still very misty. We've now come to the back of the open air arena where various concerts are staged. You can see the seating there. We've just passed the stage. Tunnel, as you can see, so you can't see a thing. Now out of the tunnel, and we've come to Water Splash World here, which is close to the end of our journey. And coming up here is the water chute. We're now coming to Peasholm Park Station. And here is the station coming up over here. One thing I haven't done is to show a picture of the engine, so here's a picture of the engine there, which pulled our carriage up along on our railway trip. So having come out of the railway station, what we need to do now is to cross the road to get into Peasholm Park, which is directly in front of us. So there's one of the entrances to Peasholm Park. So we're now in Peasholm Park, and one of the features of the park are the pagodas which you can ride on, and there's one paddling away in the distance. And there's water all the way round the park, and you can walk round the park in a circle round the waterway. And if we pan round, you can see there are lanterns either side of the water which are lit up in the evening. We've now walked along to another water feature, and there's a variety of trees here and other fauna to enjoy. We're now in the part of the park known as the Glen Tree Trail, And there's a variety of different species of tree on the trail and various other fauna for everybody to enjoy. Now come back to the water where the pedalos operate, and if we pan round and you look through the mist, you'll see we've got a band playing on an island in the middle of the lake. So there's a brass band concert taking place on the island there, and there's various people around here which you can see through the mist who are watching the brass band concert. And beyond them, up here, is the cafe where I'm going to go now for a cup of tea and to listen to the band. I've had a nice cup of tea in the cafe and listened to the brass band while I was drinking my tea. I've come out of Peasholm Park now. I'm at the roundabout, and what we're going to do is to head directly in front of us down to the beach, and we're going to walk along the seafront at North Bay and go onto the headland between North Bay and South Bay. Okay, I've now come back onto the seafront and the mist has got a lot worse than what it was this morning. So these are the apartments which we saw earlier with the eateries on the ground floor. We can make those out. If we look and pan round to Scarborough Mills and where the beach huts are and the Sea Life Centre, you can see absolutely nothing. We pan round further to see the beach. Well, that's what you can see, not very much. You can see some of the sand down there, and there's the sea in front of us, and you can probably look there, you can see some people on the beach there. There's not very many on the beach at all. That's where we're walking to. That's the headland at North Bay, and you can't see a thing except mist. So rest assured that there is something out there, and I will walk through the mist to get to the headland between North and South Bay. Panning round further, here's the cliff tops here which I walked on earlier, and you can just about make out the cliffs, but that's about it. And there's a bus there which offers open top bus tours of the seafront, but you're not going to have much of a view even on an open top bus tour. So it's a pretty misty day and a pretty misty walk I've got. Now I have to say, I'm currently staying in Whitby, and I looked at the various weather apps, and the places I could visit today, the best weather was at Scarborough, and this is what I've got. And according to one app, it said that from 2 o'clock onwards it would be sunshine. Well, it's now 5 to 3, and you can see what it's like. It definitely isn't sunshine. Anyway, I'm going to walk in this direction, and I'll probably tell you when I've reached the end of the walk. That's assuming I can find it. We've now reached the point on the promenade where the road bends away from North Bay, so this is our last view of North Bay, and as you can see, we can see absolutely nothing because of the mist. You probably can hear the waves lapping up against the rocks, and that's about it. So we'll venture around now to see the start of South Bay, or as much as South Bay that we can actually see, if you know what I mean. So I've now arrived in South Bay, and as you can see, it's just as misty as it is in North Bay. So with that, I'll hopefully be able to find my way back to Whitby, and I'll say arrivederci.